Obviously, there's how are the guys feeling? Obviously, a lot of work to do after the weekend game.
Yeah, we were obviously really disappointed after the game, and yesterday we went through the review and analysed some of the areas where we were poor at, and had a good discussion about it. But the reality is we've got to get going this week. It's a short week, so we need to get up and get going pretty quickly.
You spoke about containing someone like Buddy. What happened there?
Well, we just felt we gave him too many easy opportunities. Our clearance work we felt wasn't great for the whole game, and particularly out of the centre bounce. And it was probably one of the issues we tried to address at three-quarter time was if you give a player like Buddy Franklin so much easy, clean ball, it makes it really hard for our defenders to stop it. So, we weren't great in that area, and certainly gave them too much easy footy, particularly out of the centre bounces.
But not too many guys standing out last week. Are you tempted to just give them all another go, particularly bearing in mind the reserves didn't play last week? Yeah,
we'll sit down tomorrow and work out who needs to go out, if anyone, and any changes that we do need to make. What we are confident, we've got a few other players waiting in the wings that we can bring in that have been in pretty good form, and so we'll address that at our match committee meeting tomorrow and look to make some changes if we need to.
Who are some of the contenders you're looking at there who have been playing well in the twos?
Yeah, well, we've sort of been talking about Lewis Johnston for a number of weeks now, and he's been going really well. Brett Meredith's another one that can be brought in, and Mark Seavey obviously is doing all he can. So there are a few options for us, and we've got to make sure we look at the structure of our team and our forward line and how we see that working best on match day. Really that sort of just revolves around the discussion of who to bring in.
Lewis Johnston came to you as a centre-half forward. Yeah. Is he still a forward, or has he changed?
Yeah, he's been playing all his football this year down back, apart from last week when he played sort of half back and half forward. So we put him down back really as part of his education process, and we've been so pleased with the way he's gone about it. He's been fantastic, and he's really learned another part of his game that probably didn't know much about before. But we do have the flexibility to also bring him forward, because part of the reason that we do bring him back is not necessarily to make him a long-term key position defender. It's actually to help his forward line work as well. So, if he gets a chance, whether it's this week or in the future, we're confident that he can play as a forward as well as a defender now, which this time last year we couldn't say that. We could only say we hope he goes okay as a forward, whereas I think now we've got the confidence to play him down back, and hopefully he's learned something to be able to play forward as well.
How did Nick pull up after the game?
Chesky?
Yeah.
He pulled up really well, surprisingly. His knee pulled up well. He was a little bit general sore, but that's to be expected, and I was quite surprised that he played almost 90 minutes of football and actually ran the game out really strongly. I was hoping that would be the case, but you never really know until you see it, and I thought the longer the game went, the better he went, and I thought he was one of our better running players in that last quarter and a half.
So you've been going with Mummy and then other guys sort of pinch hitting sort of thing, but you're looking at maybe a CV and changing that structure?
Yeah, we're always weighing that up, because we understand it's a big workload on Mummy, and he has got an enormous load to carry every week, and at some point he needs a hand, and that's not just with Lewis Roberts-Thompson. It's at some point he may need a hand with a Mark Seavey, a genuine ruckman, and who can go in there and shoulder a lot of that load. So that's something that we're certainly talking about. We talk about it every week, and it also relates to our forward line structure as well. We've got Sam Reid playing largely centre-half forward on the weekend. We had Andreas Everett full forward. So two young forwards, and into that mix comes, we need to bring in do we look at a Jesse White coming back into the team, and does Seavey play forward, does Seavey play in the ruck, and Mumford play a bit more forward as well, which could also ease the pressure on him with the big workload that he's had. So those are some of the discussions that we're going through at the moment. We know we haven't quite the mix right, but we're going to make sure we trial some things and give some players some opportunities.
How have your leaders responded this week, and particularly yesterday during the review? Because Goodsy said after the game that basically they didn't stand up and they need to take responsibility for the loss. Yeah,
they were very good. I mean, the beauty of the leaders of our footy club is that they're very honest and don't point the finger at anyone else, and they've had a history of that. And I thought, on the weekend was one of the few times that they haven't for this year. To be fair to them, they've been very good all year, and they've really responded when we needed to. And you could go through a number of the games that we've seen that happen, and they weren't good on the weekend. and they weren't the only ones, but they weren't good, and they accepted a bit of that responsibility as key members of the footy club. And but we all know that the reality is we need to turn it into what happens this week against North. That's the true test.